Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, honored guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. This morning we honor Ms. MacNevin, who has been a leader in the nearby Jane-Finch community for over 40 years. Her outstanding career as a social worker was nurtured early on by York's Bridging Program for Women, and in turn, she has built crucial collaborations between the community and this university. In 1976, Ms. MacNevin was a founding member of the Jane-Finch Community and Family Center, where she established many programs vital to the community's well-being. Between 1991 and 2003, Ms. MacNevin became the first community health worker for the new Black Creek Community Health Center, developing programs and services predominantly for teen mothers and seniors. Ms. MacNevin returned to the Jane-Finch Community and Family Center in 2003 and now serves as the Director of Community Programs. If Only I Knew, Stories of Teen Moms, a book and field manual written by Ms. MacNevin, documents the Women Moving Forward program, which she established in 2005 to move women and families from financial dependence to independence. Her first book, From the Edge, A Woman's Evolution from Abuse to Activism, recounts her own experiences as a single mother and community organizer. Her next book will focus on the history and development of the Jane-Finch community, and her interviews within the community can be found in the Toronto Public Library's Black Creek Living History Project. Ms. MacNevin has also served on the Women Abuse Council of Toronto, is a government-appointed member of the Metro Toronto Housing Authority, and is a founding member of the Jane-Finch Toronto Strong Neighborhood Strategy Task Force. Among her many recognitions, Jewish Women International named Ms. MacNevin Woman of the Year, and her contributions to this country have been recognized with the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal. Today we recognize a tireless activist and an advocate. I present to you, Mr. Chancellor, Wanda MacNevin, candidate for the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Wanda, by the authority vested in me by the Senate of York University, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. Admitto te ad gradum.
I think you must be listening to my heart beating really loudly right now from the back row. You must hear it. This is really amazing. So I want to say good morning to you all. No, I take that back. It's a great morning. You're graduating. I'm graduating, and although I'm sure it took a few more years for me to get there than you did, it took actually 41 years to be exact. I'm going to start by telling you something you may not already know. You're a scary bunch of people. Not scary looking. You all look great today, and you graduates as well. But we have, and I'm sure we have lots in common, but I'm not used to speaking to such a large and highly educated audience. Most of the time, I talk with residents or workers in my community, Jane-Finch, or when I'm speaking to business and government people, I usually just tell them stories in hope that they dig deeper into the pockets for the United Way. I did that for a number of years to raise funds for the Jane-Finch Center, an anchor agency for the United Way. Actually, what's scary is for someone like me, someone with less education, is trying to inspire you, people with many more years of education. So I'm going to do what I usually like to do and start by telling you a story. Once upon a time, there was a woman who had 3 children who lived in government housing. This young single mom had survived a marriage with a very bad man. She was trying to live the best that she could on social assistance and support from her family, but with little education, her chances seemed limited. Along came a very nice lady from Children's Aid Society who worked with a few clients in the young woman's neighborhood. Let's call that CAS lady Mary. Mary saw something in the young woman who was her client that maybe the young woman didn't even see. Mary encouraged the young mom to get involved with her community, first by volunteering, to plan outings with similar families, then becoming a childminder, to plan outings and with similar families, and then becoming a childminder for a local group, and then joining the founding board of the Jane-Finch Center. The young woman developed enough skills to be hired as the first staff person of the center, and over the years she became a program manager, leadership roles in other organizations, and eventually became the center's director of community programs. So in case you haven't figured it out yet, and I think you have, I was that young woman. For more than 40 years now, I have had the honor and privilege of working with, learning from, and collaborating with wonderful people in Jane-Finch and across Toronto, including professors, administrators, and students from York University. Over the years, I've come to understand that nobody succeeds in life without other people. My success, like yours, is connected to others. Mine is fueled by support from family, friends, colleagues, mentors, people who believed in me. Each of us can contribute to society and most often are strengthened in doing so through working with others, whether it's in our community or in some type of group. Believing in ourselves and believing in others can lead to significant changes. I recently read about someone who is a great example of believing in others. Maybe other people have read about him as well. Dr. Monday Gala, a principal at C.W. Jeffries Secondary School in our community, believes in all his students. Jeffries, known as a school where Jordan Manners was murdered, so since then, Principal Gala made significant changes in the school, such as eliminating academic streaming. As a result, the academic courses at Jeffries now have a 95% passing rate. There will be other opportunities out there for you as skilled, knowledgeable, and capable people to engage in community, your own or some other community with even greater challenges. There will be opportunities to share your passion, your experience, and your knowledge with others. And learning from others, sharing common struggles, and overcoming challenges will change your life. You might even change the world. I say this because we're entering a time where there are significant challenges in our society. Changes and challenges around the world that affects us all. You know what some of them are. We have our work cut out for us, whether we are just starting out in new career pathways, or like me, just ending our working career and starting a new phase of life. And this is where you come in. All hands are needed on deck to improve communities, where we live or work, to improve our cities, to improve our country. In doing so, we improve our own lives. There are organizations or movements that you can work with. There are organizations, some examples are Idle No More, Black Lives Matter, climate change organizations, anti-poverty coalitions, and much more. I believe that people working together can create communities and a better world. I saw that done in the early years in the development of York University and the Jane-Finch community. York University and Jane-Finch community grew up alongside of each other, but kept apart by the Black Creek and by vastly different circumstances. So how did they get together? My history shares a little bit of that story. I started to go on campus in the 70s, not with the intention of going to classes, but rather to learn about opportunities for children in Jane-Finch to experience York University. My 3 children attended York Youth Connections summer camp and were exposed to the idea of university. My eldest graduated from York, and my youngest graduated from Trent. Faculties such as social work, nursing, and even geography has brought students from the university out to Jane-Finch and exposed them to community. Some faculty demonstrated social justice work at its best, and many of us learned a great deal from them. While York is part of our community, it's important to acknowledge that Jane-Finch community has also brought much to York University. Research partnerships, knowledge sharing, neighborhood tours, opportunities for student placements, and much more. Many who don't live in Jane-Finch may believe that this is just a place of poverty and crime. That was the external perception of our community, but not the reality of it. I've lived in the community for most of my life, and I experienced it to be culturally rich, friendly, an engaging community of almost 90,000 people from all over the world. We have people from different socioeconomic classes and speaking many different languages, living together, sharing their cultures, their experiences, their knowledge, and their talents. It's a community with strong organizations. For instance, the Jane-Finch Center helped initiate many other organizations such as the Elspeth Hayward Center for Women, the Black Creek Community Health Center, and the North York Women's Shelter. Working with and supporting community residents with other service providers for over 40 years, the center is proud of the fact that more than 50% of its staff are or have been residents, and 50% or more of the board of directors continue to be residents. York University is one of our community assets. It made a long-term commitment to community engagement, and it's through engagement where social justice work begins. We consider the York TD Community Engagement Center, a satellite of the university located in the heart of Jane-Finch, to be a community treasure. We have much to be proud of and much more to do, and I invite you to join us in that work. I accept this award on behalf of the Jane-Finch community. I want to acknowledge all the work accomplished by professionals, volunteers, students, frontline workers, and community residents. I would not be the person I am today without what I have learned from others, from the community, and from the university. I want to say thank you to those of you who helped me in my journey. You know who you are. Especially to my children who had to put up with a mom who was frequently away attending meetings, and to my husband who's a constant source of support and encouragement. My heartfelt thanks goes to those who nominated me. Thank you for believing in me. So I say, graduates, go for it. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain by being involved in community. Thank you.